Hey everyone, this is George Moore, owner of Moore's Sewing Center in Southern California. And before I start a project here on the Grace 16X and the QCT6 automation, I'm preparing my frame and I want to talk a little bit about the Grace leader cloth, specifically the leader cloth that's designed for the hoop frames. Many people don't use leader cloths on hoop frames, but I believe they are wonderful. Now, the point is if you don't have a hoop frame or know anything about it, you can click on our link and see a great demo by this crazy guy on the Grace Cutie Breeze frame, and it is an amazing product. They also have the Q-Zone frames as well as the Quilter's Evolution hoop frame. They are known for their frames, but what does a leader cloth do? Okay, so the project I have here, I put together, just took a long piece of fabric and pinned it on some batting and backing, and I then put it on this leader cloth. Now, what's great about the leader cloth for Grace is it has this hard tube in here, okay? And this makes it possible to roll it, because unlike leader cloths for a rolling frame, which are meant to be on rods that roll, this becomes your rail, okay? And it makes it much easier to roll that in. And so this is actually 136 inches long, this muslin piece on this cording type material. It's like a tube. And that gives you the ability to, well, obviously a king size. Then we also have the bottom. So the fact is you pin that as well, because when you go all the way to the end, you don't want to, you want to have support so you can quilt all the way to the end of your quilt, like I'm going to be doing edge-to-edge quilting. And then you have these side leaders. Now, I chose to make my quilt backing large enough, but if I didn't, if I wanted to stop like right here, then I would use these side leaders right here. And so definitely I would recommend you getting this leader cloth for it here. You can click on the link and see more information and the pricing of this here, and also more products as well. So I want to get to that project now. All right, so I loaded my fabric onto the frame. This right here, I'm working with the Cutie Breeze frame, the 16X with the Cutie Breeze frame. But I want to talk really about the automation, because automation is unique. It's not really just the software, the tablet. In fact, you provide your own tablet. It's really the motor box and the linkage that moves the machine and the software. So the QCT6, you have a motor box that installs in the carriage. See, the carriage is what your machine moves on in the typical basis, and that's how you move and you create the stitches, and it's wonderful. But the motor box installs in there, and then it moves it automatically. And then when you are using the software, in fact, I'm going to show you, it will actually take you through, and you can place your pattern to do the complete quilt, and it's automatic, and the stitches and everything's perfect. So let's go into the project we talked about. So again, I have my fabric here that I've loaded. So this is the backing on the leader cloth, and then this is the top. And what I did is, you see, I basted this down. See, I love the Unique Series machines. You have that long basting feature, and so I basted the corner, and I went through the whole process and basted the top, and I ended at the very end, but I didn't baste the side there because I want to have some ability to manipulate. That way I don't have to deal with the pins as I work with this. So let's look at the computer itself. Let's go on the screen, and right here we have edge to edge, and that's the basic program. And so let's go ahead and open it up. What I love on this here is that it gives me complete step-by-step instructions on what to do. And so I'm going to go next, and actually, if I want to go right to the very opening, the welcome, the video, I can do that. But let's take this and go next. And it has an opening screen tutorial, and so I'm going to leave it on because I want every step. I want you to see how easy this is to walk through. So we're going to go to next. I'm going to close that. And so this is actually showing me the two types of frames that we're working with. I'm working with the frame that is a hoop style frame. I can actually work with a rolling type frame. And so what I have is it has it where I can select the type of frame and how large a fabric that I'm working with. So I've actually hooped it quite long. So as you see in this picture right here, that is the best description of it here. But that's telling me what to do here. So I'm going to choose the type of fitting that I have on there. If I only had something that was just fit in the frame, it tells you that, or it shows you that. And again, this is not just for the hoop style frame, it's for the rolling frame. The rolling frame, you would obviously do the whole width of the fabric at one time. And so we're working with, in this case, a hoop style frame. Now, this actually is really cool. I can actually take this and choose this function, and it goes right to the web page and gives me a video on what to do to start. Now, I don't want to do that. I want to actually go back to this here, and we're going to come at that. That QR code is quite unique here, and I'm going to talk about that in later steps because I can launch a video and see information based on what I need at that time. Okay, so we're going to close out here, but what this is telling me to do is set the area that you have that you're working with. It's called your safe area, and it shows me exactly to put it in the top left. So I'm moving this over here, and I'm telling the frame that's my furthest area. Now, I don't really want to use all that. I'm going to come in a little bit, okay, just to give me a safe area, and I press top left, and then I move it bottom right. And I'm going to, again, give myself a little bit here. Now I want to select the design. And so I can open up the folder right here, select design, and there are over 100 edge-to-edge patterns in this program. And you can go, and there's even some from to quilt designers and all different. I mean, there's so many different programs here that you can do for your edge to edge. The one I actually want to use is this one right here. And so I open that up, and this shows me the pattern that I'm going to work with, and it's based on my own selection. So I'm going to go next. Again, step-by-step instructions. It's so wonderful. And it has me select the height. Now, you can do some math, basically, on how I want this to be a certain size. And, you know, again, I just cut a piece of fabric, so it's not going to be 100% accurate. I just want to show you how wonderful this is. So I decided that I want to have it 5 inches. Okay, that's the size I want here. And I go to next. And it asks if I want the spacing a certain distance. I mean, I don't want them exactly touching, but let's do a 1/4 inch, just a 1/4 inch distance. Why? I don't know. I'm just playing around with it, and maybe I'll like that more. I would recommend to try it for as a sample, but I think it'll be fine. So I go next. Let's go ahead and see what the QR code says in this case. So as you know, a QR code that gets you to launch to a website, well, what this does is it launches right to the video page. Now remember, I can go right to the page here, but there's something about being able to watch a video on the exact step on what to do this here. So that's Carla there from Grace, and she's giving me instructions on how to do this one step. So again, every time you see a QR code, then I'll go ahead and pause, Carla, sorry. Anytime you see a QR code on it, which is every step, it will walk you through this. And so the learning. Now, I will tell you that as I get more proficient with this, which I am, I've done this several times, I can turn this help option off. And so it's like walking with you hand in hand. And that's why so many people love the Grace products. Now I want to tell the system which part of the quilt I'm going to work with. And I'm going to work with the top left-hand corner. So I select that. And on here you have these nodes, and that represents the quilt top. So I'm going to put my machine over the corner here and select the node. and then the left-hand side, and then the top right. Now, I did not hoop this straight. Now, I'd like to say that was on purpose, but that's just me. But that's the whole thing about this. The hooping system and the QCT6 makes it so it aligns the design based on how you hooped it. It's so forgiving and so easy. So I select this, and you see on the screen, the line here, that is the line how I've quilted my quilt top. So it's going to adjust that automatically. So let's go ahead and go next. Now, this actually would be a complete tutorial about what to do. If I wanted to launch into that, that's placing your first edge of the design, I can do that. But again, I can turn this off, but I'm going to keep prompting it so it tells us here. So what I want to do is I want to move it to the left, okay? And this is something I want to show you something really unique about it. So it takes control and moves this all the way over to the starting point. It tells me to place a sticker beneath the needle. This is how it's going to, when we rehoop it, and because this is a big hooping frame, this is how it finds it. And the sticker is only so that you can see the penetration hole. Grace gives you these stickers right here that are different colors by Avery, and they're fine, but I like using a little higher tacky, a little adhesive. It still comes off. And so I'm going to use the Target stickers you find with the Baby Lock machines or the Brother machines, and we have them available at Moore's, but this is by far better. So what I want to do is, it tells me right on the screen to move to the left and place sticker beneath it. Okay, so that's just so that the sticker is going to hold the hole. See, what happens is it's going to take a stitch and it's going to hold that in place. I'm going to put that down there, and it does a single stitch, just like so. And then it releases it, and then move to the right. And it moves over to the right. And how far to the right? All the way back to the right. All the way here. So again, on the screen, it tells me to place another sticker below it. And so we'll go ahead and do that. I place the sticker below just so that it has the hole. So this is a reference. And again, I'm using these higher adhesive stickers that are available at Moore's. Okay? And so we're going to go ahead and do a single stitch. So now, again, I select next, and it tells me how to pull the bobbin thread up, which I've already done that, but I love that it does this. But I want to go ahead and I can follow the steps, or I can even play. It actually shows me step by step what to do. Again, they're assuming this is the first time, and that's what's so incredible on what this does. So let's go ahead and pull the bobbin thread up. I want to move it to the starting stitch. So on the screen, I select starting stitch, and it moves all the way to the start, the very first stitch it's going to do. Okay, and it does a stitch, pull up the thread. Okay, so it's going to guide me into pulling up the bobbin thread. So I do that. Okay. So I've pulled that up. Again, it's walking me through it. I can turn these functions off as far as reminders at a later time, but I like this. Okay, so let's go next. Now, I can access stitch settings. See, that's what's neat about this. This is a flow-through system. It's actually, the operating system and the machine is locked together. And so it gives me step-by-step onto how to open up the functions of the machine. So if I do that, I can open this up, and I can go to settings of the machine. So I select settings, and I can choose, well, maybe I want more than 2 tie-offs. Let's do 4 tie-offs so you see it. And it has it where I can tell it not to pull the bobbin thread within the steps, which probably is going to be the best thing to do at this time, because the bobbin thread's already pulled up when I do this here, and I'll remember when I move the fabric here. So, but we'll leave it on. I want you to see this here. So again, we have complete control of this. So now let's go ahead and press sew. So So that does 4 tie-offs. And then I'm going to go ahead and trim. So it will continue to stitch this pattern, the same pattern, the same size and everything that we programmed in, all the way through the first panel. So as you see, the machine, the monitor actually shows you the progress where you are in the design, and then upon completion, it prompts you to the next step. Now, completed design, and on the screen it says, ask me if I want to continue. So let's see what happens when I press that. So it's telling me about pulling the bobbin thread up again. So let's go ahead and do that. Actually, again, a reminder, it shows me to pull some thread. So I have a loop, and then do a stitch, and then pull that up, okay? So let's see how that works. So we're going to pull some thread, and then single stitch. Okay, so now, let's do next. This is where I like using these stickers. The sticker just makes it so I can see the hole again, and I want to be more precise. So we're going to go ahead and put a sticker down here again, and then do a single stitch. The stitch doesn't stay in there, okay? So the stitch is just a hole. So I go next. I'm going to move all the way back. So this whole process is to align your, let's call those zones, because we just did one zone. We're going to go on to the next zone, and you're going to be amazed how accurate this is to complete an entire quilt. And it becomes more repetitious where you're not having to think about it. You just follow the steps, and it's perfect. So again, here it shows me to do another stitch. But again, this is on the batting, because I designed it so it's going to be a little over the edge. This is why I like using these stickers. Now, again, Grace has theirs that come with it. They're standard Avery stickers. These are stickers that we sell that are for the Brother and Baby Lock embroidery machines. They're available, but there's all kinds of stickers out there. So choose what you want. So again, that actually tells me what exactly we're doing. I go next step, and it's time to move the fabric, and it says tap OK after you've moved the fabric. So I'm going to do a little speed up of me moving the fabric, and as I do this, I'm positioning it. It's sped up, of course, but let's going to the next section. Okay, so I rehooped the fabric, and what's it tell me on the screen? Tap OK, and to proceed. And so now on the screen here, it asks what part of the section. Okay, so I'm doing the top center. I'm not going to do the end yet. It's not all the way to the end here. So let's go ahead and select that. And let's see if this tells me anything. Well, I'll just go ahead and follow this. So look what it's doing. It's telling me to select the edges of the quilt. Okay, so top edge, that's the edge. That's not where it's stitched, because it has it where it's the edge. Because I hooped this differently, than the last one, because I'm not perfect. I want to move this over here. So select next, and it tells me how to place it to the next setting. So again, I could watch a video right on the screen, which is kind of cool. Let's see what happens. That went right to the web page that Grace has it, or as I did before, I could use my phone. So if I wasn't sure how to do this, at any time I can reference these videos, and that's really an amazing feature. We'll go ahead and clear out of that. But they're small videos, which is nice. This just help us through here. So basically, move the needle to directly over the last stitch in this design you connected. The very last stitch is right there. Okay, now tap the gray area. So I can do that. I can tap the gray area when I have it. Then move to the right. And that's going to move all the way down to the right position. Okay, so again, this is giving me step-by-step functions to be able to follow this whole thing.
So it's moved all the way to the right, and it has me do a single stitch. But again, I'm going to use those stickers. That way I can know for sure. Because you imagine trying to look, like in this case, batting, where it's not quite, you can't see it. So they come right off very easily. We're going to put it on there, and you can use the ones that come with if you want to. Single stitch. To go next. It's connecting this here. What is it going to do? Okay. So again, it wants me to pull the bobbin thread up. So pull a little bit of extra, like it shows. Again, some information that we've already followed, and you can turn off those cues if you want to. So I'm holding on to the tail while it goes over to the step of the next one. Put my stickers down there. And then we'll do a stitch and tie it off. And I'll take those stickers off later, not a worries. So with the magic of video, we're speeding this up so you can see the stitching as it progresses to the next step. And I'm just amazed at the stitches. All the stitches are amazing quality. It has just the right amount of edge so that when I bind it, it's going to be covered, so I don't have to cut the threads, which you don't want to. And so it's really an amazing software development for your unique machine. This will work with the 16, 16X, the Elite Series, the 19X, 21X, on any of the Grace frames. Okay, we've completed 2 midsections of the top row. So let's show you how we do the corner. And as you'll see, I just repeat the same process. And so after a while, you become very good at it, and you don't have to think, and that's where you can turn off these prompts in the future. So as you see here, I'm going to press continue. Now I need to select the edges of the quilt. And just like before, it has these nodes here. And so I simply select on the screen. I'll actually place this here on the top. And then this time we're doing the corner. And I'm going to go to the far corner and do an exact corner setting. And then all the way down here. Now, I'm going to pop up a screen here. You can see that it purposely has adjusted my quilt so it's off the edge and consistent, because I did not hoop it straight. So it does that for me. That's an amazing thing. So let's go to next. Now it wants me to position my needle to be right over the last stitch. And I have this jog feature that allows me to position it so that I can get it just right. I can put it down onto the fabric, and I can make sure that it's right where I want it. So once I've done that, I reach up and select on the node here, and that tells it the starting point. Then I tap on the screen, move right. Now again, it's having me place a sticker, because actually the sticker is outside of the fabric. It's on the batting, because that's how we're going to line up everything at a later time. And so when we see this here, we're going to put this sticker down, and that way it's going to do a single stitch. Now I just select next. So this is going to complete and stitch down to the very end of the corner, and then we're going to repeat the process until the completed quilt is done. Okay, so I'm in the middle of the quilt and the bobbin thread ran out, which happens. And this is a great opportunity for me to show you how to correct that, because thread happens. Okay, so if you look here, you can see it's stitched several, well, I actually tried to stitch for a while. I was multitasking, so while this was operating, so I didn't catch it. And actually on the screen, it shows where I can repair pattern. Okay, and it has several different options here where I can move it here. Let's go to Tools, because there's one function that I want to do. As soon as I took the screen off there, it released the carriage. That's what I was going to do, because I want to basically move some thread out and release the carriage, so I can do this here and pull that thread all the way out, because obviously it didn't stitch because it ran out of bobbin thread. So I can pull all the way back to the end where it took the last stitch. And where is that? It's right here. So we're going to come and repair it, and you can spend a little time. Probably I'll just clip it right there, and that way I can stitch it over. I can pull it up and stitch it over. So I need to get to that point right there. I need to get right to that stitch, okay? So I have already put a new bobbin in, and so I'll pull that up before I start. But what it has trace back, okay? So let's go ahead and trace back. It says on the screen we need to lock in the pattern, so it has me press the closest stitch, and that's this function right here. So it automatically will find, because I moved it out of the area, and it actually goes to the closest stitch. Again, it gives me instructions on how to do this, but I want to explain it here. So I've locked that here, and I want to trace backwards. And this is going to go all the way back through the design without stitching, and I can see, and I can stop to a point. You see, it's right on track. It's right on track, so I don't have to worry about it mislining, because it's got the line. And so it's really quite amazing. As you see, I was not paying attention. It went all the way through this whole thing. That happens, I was multitasking. If I was watching it, I would have caught it right away. But this is a good thing to see for the process we're working on this here. So we're going to go ahead and let it go to the end. So I can see on the screen where it's coming up here. It's going to come up to the pattern where I want. And as it swirls around, I'm going to press stop right to that point. I can actually trace backwards or forward is what I want to do. So I can do one stitch at a time. So that right there is, when we look at it, that's about one stitch. I'm going to be overlapping one stitch, and that's fine. And I want to go ahead and pull my bobbin thread up. And I really don't want to tie it off, so I can change that setting. What I want to do is I want to stitch in the same hole. So I'm going to go ahead and just stitch a couple times by doing this. To lock that off. Right now we're going to press sew. And so it doesn't tie off. Now I want you to look at this here. We're going to stop it. I want you to see that's pretty darn good, if I do say so myself. So again, I just wanted to, I'm in the middle of this quilt. I wanted to show you how easy it is to correct things that happen. And Grace has made it so easy. And the learning process is virtually been eliminated because it steps you through every function. And if I have questions, I can refer to those videos, or I can also refer to the documentation. But again, let's go on to the rest of the quilt. We're going to stitch out the rest of the quilt, and when I get to the end, I'm going to tell you how I finished it. Okay, so I have completed my entire quilt top except for the last row. And so what I want to mention to you is that I didn't do this in one day. I mean, obviously I've got a lot of things to do running a company. So each time I started this, I turned it on from scratch. I simply repeated the procedure, selected the design, I sized it, I put the spacing to 1/4 inch, and I went through the procedure of telling it the area of the quilt, as well as the sides and the section, and then I lined it up to the little stickers, okay? So what that does for you is it tells the machine exactly where to stitch. And one thing I want to talk about, if you remember in the beginning of the video, I know this video is getting long, but in the beginning of the video, I said I cut a piece of fabric, okay, and then I determined the size of the rows. Well, I didn't really measure the piece of fabric, I estimated, okay? And so what you see here is I'm doing 5-inch rows, a 1/4 inch apart, and I've only got, let's say about 3 inches of space. So after doing this entire procedure, it perfectly sized and angled this. Obviously, I didn't quilt this straight, as you see on the screen here. And it does it where it's the stitching, you don't want to have it so it runs off and you have to cut it, because then it's going to unravel. It's stitching seamed right on the edge. And that is so amazing to me, because they've thought of everything. And again, everything, they walk you through everything. No step is left undone. And I am just so impressed with how easy Grace has made this for you. So back to the fabric here. Now, I originally had pinned this down. Because I'm going to be stitching over this, I took the pins off, okay? So what I want to do is I want to slow down the machine, and you have a setting on this where you can go to quilt settings and you can run to a slower stitch. So as I start this, then I'm going to just watch and make sure that as it goes to the edge that I don't catch and pull it under. And if you take a little time, you watch it, and it's going to stitch on that section beautifully. And then I simply go to the next section after I've moved the fabric. I'm repeating the whole process through the whole last row until I stitch the very final corner, and then we have a completed quilt top. All right, so here's my completed quilt top. I took the bottom leader off so you can see. I am just excited about this. Again, this was just a plain piece of fabric so I can go through the process here. Imagine your quilts. Imagine your quilt tops that you're waiting to either get a machine like this or get better at it. And I really believe that automation is the next step for you to complete your quilting journey. Again, I am just amazed with this here. Now, all of this that I showed you is on the QCT6, which is called Edge to Edge. Now, you can start there and then add the modules later to get more features. And I want to bring this up here because they give you a little chart of the different features. We have that on our website here. And I like, okay, so we're at QCT6, which I showed you the features there. Let's go to QCT6 Plus. And the thing that I like about this, it has a select and sew. Okay, what does this do? I can select over 200 built-in designs that I can browse through, and if I want to select one of those designs, it's as simple as selecting it, placing the 4 points here. I actually drew on the fabric a box to represent a quilt block. I place the points and press go, and it sews. That's how easy this is. Now, the QCT Pro, it has what's called Quilt Cat. If I want to take and plan my whole quilt, I can put a whole quilt design up there and choose, let's say, on the diagonal, have place this teddy bear, and they'll put there. But on the other blocks that are does not have the teddy bears in here, let's put a triangle. So I have a triangle in there, but let's show you what I can do with the power of Quilter's Creative Touch. And look what it did. It created a whole quilt ready to go. And so, speaking of that teddy bear, look how large I could do that teddy bear. It's quite amazing what you can do with this here. Also, with Pattern CAD, you can create your own designs. You can even draw. I'm going to draw my name. As you see, that's that's better than my handwriting. As you see, my name is stitching out beautifully. So as you can tell, I'm excited about this here. And click on the link and you can go to a special landing page where we'll go over all the current specials. We've got some specials on the QCT programs as well. If you have any questions, you can email us at customerservice@moores-sew.com or contact us at 1-800-865-9664. Bye for now. For more information on this incredible product, click on the link to see our current special offer. You can email us at customerservice@moores-sew.com or call us at 1-800-865-9664.